60 degrees angle of bank depending on the aircraft type, and if you have an under fuselage tank it might block the rad out and it won't work. But before we descend, we'll use air traffic and we can plan ahead using their minimum vector chart. So these heights are what air traffic would use in order to lower you down to the base of their radar cover so they can monitor your descent, make sure you stay safe from obstacles. Now over the sea, if you want to dig into it, RA 2307, the rules of the air for military aviators, that tells you about safety altitudes over the ground and over the sea. Over the sea it's about 1,000 feet, so we could just let ourselves down to about 1,000 feet, but it's always good practice to get an air traffic service. Not that I'll do that here because it's pretty tricky to replicate in the sim. So let's dive on down. Nice. I'd also focus a lot on the altimeter until you get below 5,000 feet. So in this case, my height above mean sea level and my rad out will match roughly because they're all set up properly. As we get down to 1,000 feet on the baro altimeter, I'll then transfer over to the rad out, and the technique we used on the Tornado, every time you're less than 1,000 feet over the sea, you will announce every 100 feet below 1,000 feet as you descend. And that is because it's so difficult to tell visually your height above a calm sea especially. And you can see in these hazy conditions that it's nigh on impossible to pick up any references. So that's why I focus down on the rad out to make sure I know how high I am. I mean, look at that. It is just fraught with danger descending over the sea. So we're now getting to about 1,000 feet on the altimeter, about 50 feet to 100 feet lower on the rad out. So at this point I'll be calling out the rad out heights so that I just keep good SA on that. And then once you're established at low level, really important to monitor your flight vector, because if you get distracted with checks and you look in cockpit, that nose could drop and then all of a sudden you're getting closer to the ground. But of course you can have the rad out warning set to alert you if you do go lower than you intend to. Like that. Now that we're here at 500 feet, I can reset the carrot down to my absolute minimum and then continue down. Time to step back into some high-techness, if that's even a word. Here we are, medium level. I mean, look at that. F-35 model by India Foxtrot, of course. And now we're going to talk about the auto recover, which is a genius switch, and I believe from cockpit photos it is in the real aircraft. And I think other aircraft have it as well in the form of a level button. But here we go, we're going to bank hard into the cloud. Maybe we're defending against the SAM system. Yes, I know we're stealth, but just play along with me. And now we're in cloud, pulling hard. It's really easy to get disorientated. I mean, that head could be any which way up. If I'm not sure, I'll hit this switch, and then similar to the auto GCAS, it will right itself wings level and then pitch to a slight climb. Really important that throughout this is to monitor altitude. We'll have our safety altitude, so if we go below that, it means we're unsafe with regards to how close we're getting to the ground. And if you don't recover by the safety altitude and it's out of control, then you're likely to have to pull the handle. But you can see how nice this switch is. Excuse that flow popping up. Really good get out of jail free card. Alright, culmination of everything. Here we are, low level in the F-35. We're going to do a simulated attack profile, which is where we're going to pop up, do a loft attack with some paveway 4s, I guess. I don't know if they do that in the F-35, but Tornado Experience is my go-to. And you can see the weather is pretty rubbish. Like a bit of bad weather, it makes things interesting. But yeah, we'll open the bomb bay door. You can see that auto GCAS, it's difficult to fly with it in this sim because it does go off a little bit soon. But look at that view from the bomb bay. Very cool. So I do need to keep my flight vector above the horizon a little bit, otherwise the auto GCAS kicks in. Hey ho. Right, up we go. So I'm going to simulate this attack with a 30 degrees nose up. I'll get to about 2,500 feet. I'll simulate the bombs are gone, over bank, and try and get back down to low level. Now I used to do this a lot in the Tornado. We'd then re-engage TFR and it'd descend back to low level. Very scary stuff. But in here you can see if I close the bomb bay, get distracted in cockpit, it'd be difficult, or should I say easy, to lose track of where I am. Now I could see the ground coming up a little bit early, so I could probably recover myself, but the aircraft's doing it for me. Squeaky bun moment, probably about 64 feet bottomed out, and we're back safe and sound cruising along. But really, really cool to have this in the flight sim. As I say, I think this is the first time this has been incorporated into a flight sim. Correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments below, as well as any questions you might have. I'm happy to answer. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Till the next time, take care, fly safe.